All right, let's jump right in. We're about to tackle a really fascinating and honestly pretty counterintuitive idea about what empathy even is. We're going to look at some hard data that suggests, for a certain way of seeing the world, the most empathic thing you can do is not just listen, but actually enforce the rules. I know, it sounds kind of backward, but stick with me, because the numbers tell a story that's hard to ignore.
Okay, so for most of us, this statement right here is basically Empathy 101. It's the textbook definition, right? If you want to connect with someone, you have to hear them out. You've got to listen. This is our starting point, the idea we all pretty much agree on. But here is where things get weird. A survey of over 1,200 people found this number. Now, what this number means is there's a real, statistically significant link between two things. One, people who operate from a very rule-based, order-focused mindset, and two, strongly disagreeing with that statement we just saw. So let me put it plainly. The more someone values order and rules, the more likely they are to believe that empathy is not about listening.
So, what's going on here? How on earth can empathy and not listening go together? I mean, is this just a lack of compassion? Or is there something deeper, a whole different logic at play? Well, to figure that out, we've got to get inside this particular worldview.
The people who study this call it the blue mindset. And to make sense of that number, we have to understand the value system behind it. Because this isn't just a preference, it's a complete way of seeing the world, with its own logic, its own definition of what it means to care. So here's the core idea. The blue mindset is built on a belief in a higher truth. This could be anything from religious law to a nation's constitution to even a strict corporate code of conduct. And here's the key. This code isn't seen as some restrictive thing. No, it's seen as the very source of a stable, purposeful life. Following the rules isn't about blind obedience, it's about doing your part to create a just and orderly world for everyone. And you can really see how it all fits together here. It's all built on a foundation of moral absolutes, a very clear sense of right and wrong. From there, you get strict rules and an unwavering sense of order. Everything works through a clear hierarchy, so everyone knows their place and their role. And what holds it all together at the very top? A powerful sense of duty to protect that system. Okay, so when you look at empathy through that lens, the definition just completely flips. On the one side, you have our common view, right? Mirroring feelings, listening without judgment, validating people. But for the blue mindset, that can actually seem weak or even dangerous. For them, true empathy is about upholding the truth. It's about correcting someone when they stray to get them back on the right path. It's not about making them feel heard. It's about reinforcing the code that keeps everyone safe.
So let's see how this actually plays out, because this isn't just theory. We can see this duty over dialogue way of thinking in some of our biggest and most important institutions.
First up, the military. This quote from a veteran just nails it. If a soldier is tired and messes up, the response isn't, "Oh, tell me how you feel." That kind of listening could put the whole unit at risk. The truly caring, the truly empathetic thing to do in that world is to correct the mistake to uphold the discipline that keeps everyone alive. Empathy is enforcing the standard.
You see a very similar logic in some religious frameworks. Some leaders actually warn against what they call untethered empathy, where just listening and affirming could mean you're okay with behavior that goes against a divine moral code. From that perspective, real love isn't just accepting everything. Real love is caring enough to guide someone back to the truth. The correction is the act of compassion. And hey, just think about a high-stakes corporate environment, like banking or pharma. If someone breaks a major compliance rule, the auditor doesn't sit them down for a heart-to-heart. No way. The number one priority is the integrity of the whole system. Empathy for the institution and for everyone who depends on it means you fix the process and enforce the rules. The system's health is everything.
Okay, so we've seen the logic, we get it. But, and this is a huge but, we have to be honest that this version of empathy comes at a very high price. When a system decides that listening is no longer a priority, there are some serious, well-documented consequences. And yeah, these consequences are pretty severe. When you shut down listening, organizations just stop working well because leaders lose touch with what's actually going on. You develop these huge moral blind spots because unjust rules never get questioned. It can feel like a violation of your dignity when no one will even hear you out. And in the end, it just kills all growth and evolution.
And here's where it gets really interesting. There's a paradox at the heart of this. A lot of the very traditions that the blue mindset draws its strength from also have these deep teachings about listening. This quote is a perfect example. So you end up with this strange internal conflict, a worldview that deeply values a sacred text, but might be ignoring its core teachings on what it means to listen.
So why does any of this matter? What's the point of understanding all this? Well, because once you see this pattern clearly, you can move from just having an interesting thought to actually doing something about it in your own life and work. This is a game changer for so many people. If you're a leader, this helps you value the duty-bound people on your team while still creating a culture where everyone feels heard. If you're in HR, this is crucial for designing feedback systems that actually work for everybody. And if you're a coach, this gives you the tools to help professionals who thrive on rules and structure. You see, it's not about agreeing with this worldview, it's about understanding it so you can work with it. So I'll just leave you with this final question. It really gets to the heart of everything we've talked about. Is empathy always a single universal thing, just listening? Or could it actually take different forms? Could it be that for some people, the most genuinely caring thing to do is to guide, to correct, and to uphold a code for what they see as the greater good? It's a challenging thought, and it definitely complicates our simple definition of empathy in a really powerful way.